Devastated. That's the feeling from organizers of the World Cup cross-country ski races after they were called off due to concerns about the spread of coronavirus. The event was to be held at Theodore Wirth Park in Golden Valley. It was expected to draw as many as 20,000 fans with athletes from all around the world. Pafua Yang spoke to organizers of the event. She joins us live at Wirth Park with more. Pafua?
Shannon, the event was a big deal for the Lopet Foundation, which worked to oversee the event. This would have been the first time in 19 years the United States has hosted a World Cup ski race.
It was very, very difficult. We were all ready to go. All the snow was made. All the hard work was done. We were just ready to, to bring the world to Minnesota, and it just was not to be. So, it's a tough day here for the Lopet Foundation, for the volunteers, and everyone who's been involved.
Munger says the event was 2 years in the making. He says it will take at least a week to take apart the event setting. Although the cancellation was a setback for the Lopet Foundation, Munger says he's positive they'll get another chance.
Here, and I think International Ski Federation and Ski and Snowboard and everyone who is kind of involved from the outside is now like, hey, wow, this is a great partner, this is a great venue, this is someplace we really want to be, and I think they saw what a great community we have here, and so I think if it's something that our volunteers want to do and we decide to dive back into, it's
Munger adds that there won't be refunds on tickets. The events were slated to start Saturday and then end on Tuesday with the World Cup. For now, reporting in Golden Valley, Pafua Yang, CCX News.
All right, thank you, Pafua. In light of the coronavirus outbreak, public schools in our area are working behind the scenes to reduce the spread of the illness. The Anoka-Hennepin School District, for instance, has activated a 25-member pandemic response team. That team is in charge of coordinating operations and prevention systems. Anoka-Hennepin, like other districts and local city halls, are using hospital-grade disinfectant in common areas. Tests by scientists have found the new coronavirus can live on some surfaces like plastic and stainless steel for as long as 2 to 3 days. Schools are also preparing food service operations to limit student touch of utensils and food products with their bare hands. As sports events get canceled across the country, the question becomes, what's next? And what about Minnesota's big high school tournaments that feature many local teams? Eric Nelson has been following that and has an update on the girls basketball tournament. Eric?
Yeah, Shannon, the NBA, NCAA, MLS, and other major sports have either halted their seasons or canceled events because of COVID-19. However, the girls' basketball tournament continued Thursday on the U of M campus, but that will change too starting Friday.
My granddaughter plays for De La Salle, number 3.
Proud mom. So excited. Go De La Salle.
At guard for De La Salle, 5'10" freshman, number 3, Kennedy Click.
For Brooklyn Park's Kennedy Click and her De La Salle teammates, the games go on. Despite a coronavirus pandemic, the Islanders played Simley in a Class 3A semifinal game Thursday at the Barn.
Oh, the left-handed runner. How about that one from Click?
My daughter is living my dream right now.
Kennedy's mom, Betsy, and her grandma, Diana, were not frightened by the prospect of being in a large crowd in the midst of a coronavirus scare.
I drank some vitamin C this morning, so I'm feeling strong, and hand sanitizer.
I put on some immunity essential oil, but I'm not worried about it.
There now underneath in a block.
The Clicks were ecstatic the game wasn't canceled. Being at the tournament to see Kennedy play for the Islanders outweighed any COVID-19 risk.
I actually thought this morning they would say something that we couldn't play.
I was a little nervous about that too, that they might say no fans.
The Click family and De La Salle are on a mission to try and repeat as champs.
That's what we're going for.
De La Salle is known for.
And De La Salle did win that game. Now, the Minnesota State High School League announced during the game that beginning on Friday, they will put a cap on crowd size at tournament contests because of coronavirus. Only players, coaches, certain media members, and selected spectators will be allowed in the venues. This will also impact the boys basketball and adapted hockey tournaments, too.
At the state capitol, local lawmakers are busy working on legislation to address the coronavirus crisis. House Speaker Melissa Hortman of Brooklyn Park says committees in her chamber are working on several bills, including one that would set up a loan fund to help healthcare providers struggling to keep up with the outbreak. Lawmakers also this week approved nearly $21 million in funding to help with response at the state level. Hundreds of Minnesota students compete in History Day projects each year. This year, the Minnesota Historical Society made the difficult decision to suspend remaining in-person Regional History Day competitions. They will now be moved to a virtual format. Schools and parents should know more by the end of the week. They are holding on to hope that the State History Day competition can still be held on May 2nd, so fingers crossed there. And a reminder for you that all of our local coverage of the coronavirus outbreak can be found on our website, ccxmedia.org. Just go to our homepage and we will post the most recent information there. Stay safe, stay well.
Last season, the Hopkins boys basketball team won its 4th state title since 2010. The Royals were looking to return to state as they faced a Cooper team that moved back into Class 4A this season in the Section 6 championship. Early in the first half, the Hawks worked the ball to Jeffrey Cooper and he hits for 3. And Broderick Powell Jr. strokes a long 3, giving Cooper a 7-point lead. Hopkins then goes on a run. Kerwin Walton finds Regan Merritt. He hits a 3-pointer. It's 15-13 Royals. Cornell Richardson on the crossover dribble drive. He hits the floater, and Hopkins is up 25-14. Joe Russell hits from long range for Cooper. That closes the gap to 6 points. But a nice catch and shoot 3-pointer by Merritt at the buzzer gives the Royals a 33-22 halftime lead. Early in the second half, Cooper drives down the lane and hits a tough shot here. Davian Evans attacks for the Hawks, gets the basket and foul. It's an 11-1 scoring run for Cooper to start the second half. Richardson answers for Hopkins with a baseline 3-pointers. The Royals try to build another lead. Evans slashes to the hoop for another hard-fought basket. Cooper is within 42-40. But Hopkins surges again. Walton to Andre Gray for the basket here. And then Walton penetrates and kicks to Tristan Lee. And he's good from long distance for a 61-47 Royals lead. And they go on to win in what wasn't the prettiest victory, but it's still a section title.
Cooper, they play a fast pace, so they're going to come at you with everything. They might not be the best offense team, but defense, they're going to scramble, and we just had to get a dirty win.
The Providence Academy girls basketball team qualified for the state tournament for the first time since the program made 3 straight trips from 2011 to 2013. The Lions faced number 2 seed Sauk Center in the quarterfinals at the Pavilion. Cameron Miller gets the defender to back off and then launches a 3 from the top of the key for an early 9-7 lead for Providence. Sauk Center is strong inside. They go to Michaela Dahman for the hoop. That ties the game. Dahman has 14 points and 17 rebounds. Tori Peschel finds McKenna Westby in the quarter for 3, and the Main Streeters take a 20-14 lead into halftime. But Providence puts together a 19-4 run in the second half. Grace Counts misses but hustles to get the rebound. That's a Miller for the jumper and a 33-24 lead. Miller leads the Lions with 14 points. A nice pick and roll here as Grace Counts gets the hoop, part of a 12-point night for her. Then Counts alone underneath, gets the hoop for 2 more, and the Lions have a commanding 45-33 lead. Sauk Center makes it interesting with a late run, but Providence moves into the semifinals with a 47-42 win. If you head far enough north, you can still find some good ice to walk out on and get some good late winter ice fishing in. And here's Terry Tuma with his final tip of the season.
Scent is a major factor in us catching fish in the wintertime. That applies to crappie, sunfish, walleyes, and jumbo perch. Why is it so important? Well, the biggest factor here is that we all know that the motivation of these fish, their metabolism has slowed way down, so they're going to be very finicky. And what we have to understand here is hooking your bait correctly. That's number one. Number two, have sharp hooks. Do not use heavy hooks. Use lightweight hooks, especially with minnows. You're going to tire out that minnow much quicker, if you will. And the biggest ingredient here with waxworms, but also with minnows, especially if you're using a minnow head or a whole minnow, change it at least every 10 minutes. And especially if you got a tougher bite going, you need to take advantage of that scent that's automatically dispersed and also the natural action of that minnow itself. Do understand and take care of your bait. It's a major factor in being successful on the ice. And by the way, too, this is the last segment of our ice fishing series. We'll be back on CCX Media with open water fishing tips and a lot of new tips again. So take a kid fishing and we'll see you next spring.